Hi there, welcome back. I'm back again. We get another commander from the main set of Duskmourn. Well, I am kind of. This is Zimone, all questioning. One green and blue for a 1/1 human wizard. And beginning of your end step, if a land enters the battlefield under your control this turn and you control a prime number of lands, you get Primo, who's a 0/0 blue-green fractal creature token with that many +1/+1 counters on it. Prime numbers that you know are only dividable by themselves on 1, so 2 is the only even one, and you've got 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, so on and so forth. However, the way this deck is built, you can also use the face card Zimone Mystery Unraveler from the pre-con deck for this set as well, if you want to have this as your commander instead. Now, I went with the all-questioning one because I wanted to. The other version of Zimone, this one on this side of my screen at the moment over here, hello, is also in the deck, but you can swap them over if you want to and play either one as your commander. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I kept with Zimone all questioning because I like the idea of Primo. Zimone Mystery Unravel I may go back and look at some stage in the future, because I think the Manifest Dread ability is something we need to look at from a Delirium point of view, but this deck today is all about getting lands into play, hence why I'm just saying you can play whichever one of these two you want, but we'll stick with the all questioning one. So here we go. Right then, now I've cleared all that up, and it helps if I'm showing you the right deck list, which I've now gone to, sorry. I was looking at some of the pre-con decks to make sure I wasn't going mad. Right, Zimone, all questioning is here. So, creatures, 37 of them. A lot of them have landfall involved, but some of them are ramp, like Elvish Mystics and Lanoir Elves. JD Offshoot gives us a life every time we drop a land. A Bristling Build chucks around the +1/+1 counters, then doubles up. Lotus Cobra gives us extra mana. Vine Lashes Kadzu just gets bigger. That has got landfall now. It has been edited on MTGO to say landfall per +1/+1 counter, by the way, just so we're clear. The original version of Zimone I decided to play for a little bit of fun from Strixhaven. Once we've got 8 lands in play, drawing the card for 4 mana is pretty useful sometimes. Architect for the Untamed gives us energy, and eventually when we get enough energy, all 8 of it in play, we get a 6/6 colourless beast token. And we do ramp our lands quite hard, so it may seem, outside of an energy deck, this may seem strange, but because of the amount of land ramp we have, we should hit this when we have this in play quite happily. Azusa, Lost But Seeking, double ups, 2 extra land drops. Corsair just lets us play lands off the top of our library and gain life when you come into play, landfall trigger. Dryad of the Leashing Grove gives us an additional land drop and then meets everything, every colour we ever need it to be. Evolution Sage, we do have a little proliferation going on, so it makes sense to have this in here as a landfall trigger. Nissa, Resurgent Amonis, extra land, and then maybe an Elf or Elemental card that we go through and find. Risen Reef springs to mind as an elemental we could find. Scoot Swarm, again, my usual warning about Scoot Swarm. Love it in real life, watch it on MTGO in case you crash the game, just be careful. Tireless Tracker for the clues as the land come in. Undergrowth Champion for the +1/+1 counters and damage prevention once we get damaged. Uro for the life and the extra land or card draw, and then the escape ability. Wayward Sawtooth, just the extra land. Hopefully we'll get to the City's Blessings so we get our 5/5 attack in ASAP. Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy. I started to enjoy Kellen, just destroying artifacts. Taking out opponents' soul rings because they find it hard to block Kellen is quite good fun. Does make you a target, be warned. Oracle of Mildai, extra land drop, play the top card revealed and lands get dropped. Quandrix Cultivator goes and gets a forest or an island if we need it. Basically, there's the other version of Zimone I've already talked about. Greensleeves gives us badges when we drop a land. Guardian of Tazim lets us tap creatures that don't untap when we drop lands. Oja Chasm, Deepest Growth, I am playing a green deck. You see this in most of the green decks. Not's changing. Over Being a Myth is an old school card. Power and toughness each for the number of cards we have in our hand. We draw an extra card at the beginning of our draw step, but it's either blue-green all the way through for 5 mana. So, still good fun though. Tatiova, Benthic Druid, life gain card draw when we drop a land. Vorinclex lets us go and find 2 forest cards and put them into our hand when we first cast it, and if we get to flip into the Grand Evolution, we are not going to complain at all. Azzy, Tyrant of Gaia Strait, extra land drops, draw a card when we play a land. Bonnie Pal Clear Cutter gets our Boo out as well, and whenever we attack, draw a card, then put a land card from our hand or the graveyard onto the battlefield. Nice. Lumara, Bellow of the Woods is also in. Tough, power toughness equal number of lands. Mill, when it enters, return all the lands tapped to the battlefield. This plus Bonnie Pal's Boo are very, very strong together. Anyway, Oran Reef Hydra gets the land, comes into play, just gets bigger with +1/+1 counters. Rampaging Balos gives us 4/4 beasts. Royal Elemental lets us nick things away from our opponents. Delicate creature at 3/2, but yeah, maybe one turn and nicking something that gives everything haste, wins you the game. Because you've got Avenger of Zendikar for all the plants, and then you've got Cultivator Colossus who will enter the battlefield, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat this process. I have chained together 5 lands so far with the Cultivator Colossus, which is pretty good. So that turned them from a 9/9 into a 14/14, and my opponent's faces just sank. Spells are all ramp. There's nothing fancy here today. I even managed to avoid putting Cyclonic Rift in just for a one-off, so everything is ramp today. Nature's Law, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Cultivate, Kodoma's Reach, Search for Tomorrow, Ranger's Path, Sky Shroud Claim, and Venture Forth. They're all in. Has some additional ramp and 1 landfall base card, so we've got both of my favourite suspending artifacts, Talisman and Mox Tantalite, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, 1 of each in the medallions to cut the cost down, plus Talisman of Curiosity, and then Eternity Vessel. This is lovely. It's a fantastic proliferate target. If we've got this in play and we have out, wherever he's gone, our little proliferating dude, there you go, evolution stage, yeah. Dropping lands, proliferating up the counters on our Eternity Vessel means your life total can become very high very quickly. Bear it in mind. I'm sure I'm talking to the converter, but hey, I'll mention it for anyone who may not have seen it before. Enchantment wise, Druid class for the extra land drops and life gain eventually once we get up to level 2. Irune Expedition. Eventually get 3 quest counters, sacrifice to draw a couple. Kalani Heart Expedition, eventually get some quest counters on here and get 2 basics out of our library into play. Dictative Crowfix is also in at the beginning of each player's draw step. Everyone draws an additional card. Growing Rights Himlock gives us that fancy fake gaze cradle when we get it flipped. Rights of Flourishing for the extra card draw and land drops again. Court of Bounty always gives us land drops if we got it in play, or we get to put a creature into play with a monarch as well. Path of Discovery, our creatures come in, they get to explore. Zendika's Royal, landfall, 2/2 green elemental creature tokens, thank you. And Primeval Bounty, cast a creature spell, we get a beast, cast a non-creature spell, chuck around some +1/+1 counters, landfall, gain 3 life. Beyond that, the lands themselves are just blue-green lands all the way through. There is nothing fancy, unexpected or unhelpful in here. We have got Reliquary Tower, just in case we are drawing some extra cards. And we've got Temple of the False God as well. They're all in. But beyond that, it's not the most original deck I've ever built, I'll be honest. But hey, it's blue-green, and I like landfall. But on the flip side, do have 2 commanders that we can use. So, yeah, it's not all bad. Right, I've kept the video short today because I think this is probably a very straightforward blue-green deck for a change. It is purely about getting lands into play, abusing the landfall triggers. It's probably been seen 100 times by now, but I think it's still worth looking at some of the decks like this, especially if we've got something fancy like Zimone or questioning to get Prime Arrow out. You can play this version of Zimone if you'd rather do the Manifest Dread tricks, but I'm trying to think of something funky to do with this with Delirium, so keep an eye out for a Zimone Mystery Unraveler video in the future. But for now, thank you for watching. I really hope you can hit the subscribe button that's down here, not below me where I usually point because I've got 2 cards up. 534 as I record this, so more the merrier. 253 is what I was getting at over on Twitch. If you want to see me play Zimone at some stage this week, come and give me a quick follow on Twitch down below, and I'll be back very soon with some new decks. So for now, thanks for watching, take care, see you in the next video, bye.